everybody. Oh, I'm 2 minutes late. Sorry, I gotta charge my phone. Okay. How are we tonight? Happy Thanksgiving week to those of you in the United States. To those of you not in the United States, we will eat turkey for you. I will sacrifice that just for you. It's good to see you guys. What is happening over there? All right, are we ready? We have a lot to do tonight. So let me quickly introduce myself. I have been forgetting to do that lately. My name is Allison Dahlke. I am a Scentsy Superstar Director. Guarantee you, if my husband is watching this, he is crazy that the door is open. He doesn't like it when it's not symmetrical. I'll fix it. I will fix it. All right. There we go. Now the door's closed and it's even. Good evening. So again, my name is Allison Dahlke. I'm so glad that you are here. I am a Scentsy Superstar Director, and I just celebrated my 10-year anniversary with Scentsy, which is kind of cool. I did not ever think when I signed up that I would still be doing this 10 years later. I mean, I did not think about, I don't know, not something you think about. So here we are. So glad you're here. We have a lot to talk about tonight, as usual. Somehow, we always keep coming up with things to tell you. Hi, Sarah. I do want to tell you a little bit about something we did this weekend. So I mentioned I'm a Superstar Director. I have a lot of directors in my organization, a lot of Superstar Directors in my organization, and I came home from Superstar Director Summit really, hi Kelly, really wanting to have all my directors paid at title, all of my Superstar Directors paid at title, and really have flourishing, healthy businesses, but also really healthy lives. Hi Diana. So I organized this little thing at my house this weekend. We had 8 people stayed in our house. We kicked my kids out. My mom, my sweet, precious, amazing mom, who always does way too much for us. She took my kiddos for the weekend, and we hosted. I guess we hosted 5 Superstar Directors and their spouses. Not all spouses. I don't know. There were 10 of us total. But it was a cool weekend. Hi, Jamie. That's what I'm talking about. Working 2 online parties and listening. Hey, Kaylin. Anyways, it was a really good weekend. I was really nervous about it. It was one of those things I did really unsure about what I was doing. And I think it turned out okay. I don't really know. We're all so closely tied together now. I don't think they'll ever tell me if it was awful, but I think we're going to try to do it again. We just have this... Brenda, I have this passion for really helping leaders run their businesses in a way that's healthy, that's sustainable, that puts their family first, and that also allows them to have a growing and flourishing business that focuses on their strengths. So we're going to do it again. I'm really excited. I'd like to hit up, if you're a leader in my organization, I'd love to hit all of you. We'll see how it happens, but we'll go from there. So let me talk real quick about what tonight is. Tonight we are talking about several things. We are going to talk a little bit about gratitude. Maybe. We'll talk about gratitude. But we're mostly going to talk about preparing for the next 4 weeks. Or really up until Christmas. Hey, Pat. So that's what we're going to focus on. Let me explain who this is for. If you are a Scentsy consultant and you love the product and you're ordering every once in a while, we're so glad that you're here. This is not necessarily... this is not going to be geared towards you necessarily. Please stay and watch, but don't get frustrated and think, gosh, I'm not running that. I'm not working my business like that. But maybe you'll think, maybe I do want to work my business like that. So this is really for those of you who look at your business as a business. You are saying that you're going beyond the hobby stance and you are working towards intentionality and profit and consistent profit. That's what we want. That's what I want for you. So hold on just a second. Hey, Joss. Jocelyn was at my house this weekend. To say we know each other well now is an understatement. We really do. I know all her secrets. All right, so also, if you are not a planner, by no means do I want you to be frustrated by this. I don't mean planner like super organized. What I mean is that there a lot of benefit and productivity can come from a little bit of intentionality. And so I'm not asking you to be super organized. I'm not asking you to change everything you do. I'm just going to give you some tips and tricks that have worked for me during a really busy holiday season. And then also even looking beyond that into the new year. So, yes, I love hearing that. You want to quit your full-time job and you want to work this as a business. Yes. So that's what we're doing. So we're just going to dive right in. I do think you need something to write on. You know, I used to be a teacher. I think you probably need a piece of paper. And if you have your calendar near you, that would be helpful too, because we're going to do some long-term thinking. We're going to think about your business like a business. Here's the first thing I want to say to you. Do you really think that people who run legitimate businesses that make a profit, that are working their business with intention and all of those things, do you really think they have no plan? It's just in my head. I'm going to do it as it comes. No, they have a plan. And so we're going to work a little bit on creating a plan for you tonight. We're going to focus on the next 4 weeks, get you through the end of the year, but we are also going to talk about the beginning of the year. So I want you to think about that. I know that you think that you know, oh, I kind of know what I'm going to do next month. Oh, I kind of know what I'm going to do in January. Oh, I kind of have a plan. Kind of's not going to cut it. Kind of's not going to work long term for you. Everything in your head is not going to always work out, and you're going to forget things. So we are going to work our businesses with intention, and we're going to take into account your circumstances, your lifestyle, everything else that's going on. So this is not a place for excuses as to why you can't do that. This is a place for, we're going to look at everything, we're going to put it all on the table, and we're going to figure out what we can do and how we can do it well. So here's how we're going to start. I want to show you something. I think I've showed you this before in the past, but I want to show you a tool that I have used literally for 10 years. And I do absolutely believe it is something that has kept my business flourishing long term. This is not a hard tool. It's pretty simple and basic. I mean, it's a calendar. But I do want to show you this. So this is what I call my goal calendar. This is only for my business. I don't write anything else on it. But I'm going to kind of point some things out to you. I want to show you some of the things that I think might be helpful to you as you really start looking at next month and as you start looking at next year. Now, first of all, already, if you're already thinking, well, that's cool, I don't have a calendar like that, you can print a monthly calendar on Google for free, okay? Print a calendar, draw one, I don't care. I don't want to hear the excuse. Let's figure out a way to make it work, okay? These are cheap. You can buy a desk, this is big, obviously. You can buy a desk calendar for $10 or less at Walmart. I mean, so I don't want to hear the excuse. There's no reason to not make this work, okay? So I want to show you a few things on here. These are things that I have tracked for years, and they're things that I set out to do. So I don't just say, okay, November, here's what I'm going to do. Best of luck. This really becomes my goal. Well, I thought my phone was charging. Oh, I got a low battery thing. I thought I had my phone plugged in. Does my computer have to be unlocked? Okay, we'll see if that works. Okay, so obviously the first couple things you're going to track are PRV, how many new recruits you're getting in a month, and then whatever kind of parties you're doing or whatever things that you are doing to, get sales, right? So for me, I am doing 2 types of parties. That is it. I think it is absolutely fine for you to say, these are the kinds of parties I'm doing right now, and that's it. Facebook Live parties are what I've been doing, and bingo parties. I don't do basket parties. I know some of you would think that's insanity. I just don't. I don't know why. I just don't. And it's okay with me. The tracking down of it and the whole thing, keeping up with it, it's too much for me. So I know my limits. I know it works for me. So call me crazy, but I just don't. And that's okay. if it works for you, my God, keep doing it. It works for so many people. But that's where it's okay to know your strengths and know what works for you. So what's working for me right now is Facebook Live parties and bingo parties. Is it always going to work? I have no idea. But it's working right now, so that's what I'm focusing on. So then I track those. I have a goal in mind for those that's centered around my PRV every month. And these are the parties that that are actually on the calendar, okay? Every time I talk about bingo parties, everybody asks. There is another video on this page called Think Outside the Party Box. It has an emoji of a box and a heart or something. But the video is called Think Outside the Party Box. I talk all about bingo parties in that video. So after this, you can go watch it. But it is basically a Scentsy party that's also a bingo game. But you can find it there. So then I also have other things. You need to think about the other things that your business centers around. So all of the things that I have are not going to be pertinent for everybody else, but they're examples. So I have my leader communication. How am I communicating with leaders and when? I have my team Q&A chats where I'm tracking how many of those I'm having. I'm also sending out a fall mailer with a Christmas special, like a physical in the mail to my customers. So that is, so this is kind of when I track. Now I will also, sometimes I will put down in here, like on Sunday, I'll put through the week, like this is the week I plan to send those. Okay, so you can see this is just Scentsy. You can see I did a show this weekend. I have my Facebook Live parties, I have online steps to success, and I have my bingo nights. Something you might notice if you look at this, and this is because this is just how this works for me, is the only time I do parties are Mondays and Wednesday nights. Everything else is other things. That's just something that works well for me. It doesn't mean that's how it has to work for you. But it is super vital that you, right now, if you do not have December booked, that you're looking at December, that you have highlighted and marked some dates where you want things booked, and you intentionally set out to book those dates. If you have no clue when you're even available, the odds of you booking a party of any type are slim to none, okay? So make sure that you are intentionally setting out time and space for your business. Like I said, for me, because of our family schedule, Monday and Wednesday nights just works well for us, and that's just something. I'm not saying you have to only do parties on certain days, but that might be something that really frees you up and gives you a lot of flexibility and makes you feel better about how your business is running, okay? You'll see over here I also have other things. So like I have things I'm working on. I'm setting up some mastermind groups within my team. I'm working on online marketing things that I'm learning about currently. Then I've got other things that I'm doing. So I'm sending out a customer mailer that I mentioned above. These are the things I want in there that are it's going out next week. So this is just kind of where I'm keeping track of everything that's going on. But the thing is, you can't just be focused on this month. This month is almost over. So as we go into the busiest 4 weeks of the year for us, then you've got to go in with some sort of plan. So obviously Black Friday is the day after Thanksgiving in the United States. If you haven't yet thought about that, that is a great time for you to offer some kind of special. It's a great reason to reach out to your customers. You may think about doing some kind of fun come and go open house where people can come and get coffee or get refueled for all of their adventures. It may be a place and time for you to open your home and sell out, or sell some things that you've had in stock for a long time that you maybe want to offer at a discount to your customers. It may just be, you may not have anything in stock, but it may be a great time for them to come smell. You could have an idea list of gifts for their friends and family where they could come and place orders, get recharged before they go out to all the crazy shopping. You decide what works for you. If you're traveling or you're not home, that may not work for you. That's okay. But the thing is, you've got to be willing to think outside the box and kind of experiment. What would work for me? What would I want to experience as a customer? How would I want to interact with Scentsy? Okay? So as we already need to be thinking about December. I mean, honestly, your December should already be done in your mind. And what I mean by done is planned, programmed, completely scheduled, the whole 9 yards. If it's not, that's okay. We start now. So you can see my December. My PRV is lower for December, my goal, because several reasons, mostly because I'm having surgery. So I have a goal of 2,000 that I'm planning on selling in the first 2 weeks of the month. I have no Facebook Live parties booked yet, but I have 2 bingo parties booked. So that is kind of the outline. Then I also plan, here's all those things that I'm keeping track of. But I also have plans to, I see over here, you can see, book January calendar, because I'm taking some time off in January. I need to come back in January, already booked in full. So I'm going to have some Bring Back My Bar bingo nights, some Facebook Live socials. So all of these things, you've got to be thinking already about what's coming next. Not only do you need to be thinking about December, but also about January. I know that seems absolutely insane, but you got to figure out what's going to work for you. Oh, Jane has a great point. She says, since I shop like a mad woman on Black Friday, I offer Cyber Monday deals. Make it work. That's such a great tip, Jamie, because Cyber Monday is a huge shopping day. Why would you not want your customers shopping with you on Cyber Monday? If you are not texting your customers, I think that is a great place for you to start with communication. I started texting my customers a couple months ago and have seen ridiculously huge increase in sales and just constant people coming back, because I'm sending them texts, checking in on them, letting them know about specials, pre-selling 27 tinsel specials that I didn't get any of, all those things. But it's okay, because then I turn around and offer a separate special and everybody still gets what they want. I still get PRV, everything's okay. But because I'm texting, it's so much more efficient for me, and it's also right in their hand, they're not ignoring me. I've been shocked. I think I kind of switched to doing a lot of my communication on Facebook through my VIP group, and that's good. And some of you have rockin' VIP groups, but if you're struggling with your VIP group functioning, I would suggest doing what you can via text. And the reason I did it is because I'm not a lover of Facebook. They'll probably kick me off for even saying that right now, right? My video will shut down. It's just, I think it's a big time suck, and it's not how I want to experience a product. There's products that I love, whose VIP groups I'm in, but I'm not on Facebook a lot. And so if somebody can text me a special, if somebody can text me something that's going on, or their favorite product of the week, or whatever it is, I'm much more apt to interact with that product. And so I think it's really important, as you're planning out your communication with your customers, that you're also thinking about you're using the things that you like to brainstorm ideas. My favorite thing to ask is thinking about how would you want to interact with our product if you were not a customer? How would you want to be approached by a consultant if you were not a consultant? And how would you want to purchase? Would it be online? Would it be via text to somebody? How would you want to pay them? I think about all those things all the time, because you are your own business, and so it's important that you're creating things that you wish existed in and around your specials. Ashley has a great question. Said, do you ask permission to text them? I absolutely do. But a lot of times, if you haven't already done that in the past, you can also text them the first time and say, hey, I just started texting my customers. I wanted to make sure that you are in on our best deals. I promise not to spam you. And I don't. I usually text twice a month, and that's it. But it's not going to hurt to ask either. But most people do not mind being sent a text. And also, you guys, your wording is everything. The way that you word things matters so, so, so much. If you're having trouble, if you're not getting the responses you want from customers, from potential recruits, I really would suggest you looking at your wording. Send it to your upline. Have somebody else look at it and say, hey, how could I word this better? Even have your spouse look at it and see how you would want to word it better. Group text, absolutely not. I would lose my ever-loving mind if somebody put me in a group text. I use an app called Hit 'em Up. It, I think, costs $14 a year, and it is a fantastic app. You can go in and put groups in. So I have a group for my team. I have a group for my leaders. I have a group for my customers. And what happens is you can go in and create a message with pictures, whatever you want. And then you can send them a text, and it sends to everyone. So I think there's like 50 people in my customer text group right now. And what happens is you do have to hit the send button 50 times, but instead of copying and pasting to each individual new text, all of my customers are already in that group, but it goes out as an individual text, and this app puts it into that contact's text box and sends it. Anyways, they have a free 7-day trial. It's definitely worth the try. And then after that, I think it's $14 a year. Like, it is a great, great deal, and it's such a great way to communicate, especially with your customers. But like I said before, be really careful of your wording. Wording matters so much. Makes a huge difference. So if you're having some trouble with responses, really go back and look at your wording. Yes, and Christina says it'll use their first name. It will insert their first name if you want it to. It doesn't have to. I had to send a follow-up text to everybody that I sent pre-order specials to that I sold 26 of them, so I had to send these 26 texts to say, hey, there's no tinsel warmer for you. But instead of saying their name, in the text, I said, hey, love, just wanted to and then I filled them in on what happened and what their options were and what they could do. But instead of putting their first name, they all just went out as hey, love, because that's how I communicate a lot. So you want to make sure that your wording sounds very much like you, because it is you. But think about, it's going to a lot of people. So that's something else. So texting may be something you want to start thinking about doing. Oh yes, Jess, good point. Good point. So apparently right now it's only on an iPhone. Apparently it's coming to an Android. It really is a killer app, though. I will tell you, it's amazing. Okay, so let's talk about a couple other things as you're looking forward to the next 4 weeks. Here's some things I want you to think about. This is where you may want to jot down on a piece of paper some things. So this obviously is a tool that you can use. I think it's a fantastic tool. It doesn't have to be exactly like this. It's just an idea for you. Make it work for you. But the intentionality behind what you're doing makes a huge difference. If you're really just starting out too and really building your business or wanting to take it to the next level, the other thing that I would consider doing is even just like on Sunday, just making like maybe a little checklist of some of the things that you know you need to do that week. So if you're a new director, it may be recognition for the month before. It may be recognizing promotions. If you are a consultant building your team, it may be I need to have this many opportunity conversations with people. There's so many things. Maybe it's just even posting on your business page. Maybe it's sending email. Maybe it's sending text. I do send an email out to my customers. I've gone back to email because as I was brainstorming, which are the ways I would want to be communicated with, I want an email. I do. I want an email. I do not want to search for something on Facebook. But that's just me. Like, if you love Facebook, go for it. And I'm not saying don't use Facebook. By gosh, you have to use it. But also, do not make that your only source of communication to your customers. It's not going to work out well for you long term. It's just not. Christina said, texting my customers twice monthly took my PRV from $1,000 average to a $2,100 average. I believe it. I've only been doing it for 2 months. I have seen a huge increase. Huge increase. It is amazing. But that comes with that intentionality. Like, Christina's not doing that on accident, like randomly. She is doing it with intention. I'm going to start sending out twice a month communication, whatever. And brainstorm what you want that communication to look like. Are you just going to communicate about specials when they come out? Are you going to communicate about a personal special that you're doing? Because you can absolutely do that one-on-one via text. Whatever it is, think about what you want that to look like. What I was saying about email is I have started emailing my customers again. I use a program called Mad Mimi. It's a pretty simple newsletter template email builder. There's a ton of them. There's one, I'm not going to be able to think of any of the other ones now. Y'all tell me what the other email things are. Constant Contact, but it's not free. There's one about a monkey. Come on, somebody remind me. anyways, there's several free emailing services that will kind of put a template together for you and make it kind of pretty and, you know, not just like a typical email. But I do that still at least once a month. Well, yeah, there's another one though. There's another monkey one. Okay, there's one called S'more. There's a ton of email communicator things that make creating templates really easy for you. MailChimp, thank you. I knew there was a monkey one. The reason I do it is because people still read email. I know that some of you say, I hate email, I don't read email. I hate Facebook more than I hate email. So I think it really depends on the generation of your customers. You cannot forget that you have customers, or you should, of all ages, all, you know, whatever, everything. You have customers across the board. You should have customers across the board, and you don't want to make, and you want to make sure that you're not just appealing to a certain group of people. So, like when I send, like I'm working on an email right now that will go out to my customers after Thanksgiving. That is a gift guide. So it'll be my personal gift guide on things I think they should get for teachers, for stocking stuffers, for college kids, for grandmas, the whole thing. So I'm working on a very personalized email. The thing I've noticed is that email actually does work. It actually does increase my PWS clicks. Obviously it links right to my website. It also has all my contact information. Almost every time I send an email, the day of, I get at least 2 to 3 texts with orders or asking about orders. And email is something that you can quantify. So one of the things that is my goal every month is to increase my email contact list. And people will give their email out like they'll give out candy. Like they don't care to give their email out at all. And having them save your contact, I mean, it's such an easy thing for them to scroll past. They can look at it. If they're not interested, they delete it. If they are interested, then, you know, they come back to you for whatever. So email is a great way to communicate too. It does take more time. It does take more intention. But I think it's just important. So some of you are asking about content in an email. So a lot of times if I have open party dates for Facebook Live, because my Facebook Live hosts are all over the country and they can be, I will include open party dates. I might include a booking special, because if I'm communicating one-on-one or, you know, via email to my customers, I can include any special I want. Of course, it links to my website. Yes, Christina says don't overthink content. Yes, absolutely true. Honestly, there's pictures of my family in it every single time, so it may be like the funniest picture of my 2-year-old from the past 2 weeks or something. I link it to my social media accounts, so it'll go right back to my social media accounts if they click on this picture of Lucy with Nutella all over her face or whatever it is. Mostly the thing is that it's personal. A lot of people say, well, Scentsy does that. They do, and that is a huge and amazing resource for us, and that is why you need to be entering emails into the contacts tab of your workstation and making sure that people are subscribed to your emails. But you have the ability to create something incredibly personal, and that can increase your sales and your clicks and your visibility so much. So I think the biggest thing is just be you. Don't overthink it, and don't overwork. Some of you will think, oh, I want to do that, and then you will overwork yourself about it so much. It doesn't have to have a ton of words. If you're not great with words, it doesn't have to have a ton of words. It can have some really great pictures. And honestly, your pictures will sell so much more often than a catalog picture. Did you notice how as soon as pictures of that tinsel warmer, granted it was an incredible deal, but pictures of that tinsel warmer that other people had taken start circulating, and you're like, dang, that's really pretty. I didn't think it was all that cute in the catalog, and then all of a sudden I see all these pictures of it styled, and it's so good. Kelly, I don't email from my workstation. I email straight through the email provider I use, which is Mad Mimi, and we talked about a few other ones. There's MailChimp and Constant Contact, and several. Most of them are free for up to a certain number of contacts, and then you may have to pay, but it's a really great resource. So don't exclude or totally blow off email. It's a really great resource. That's why you're still getting emails from all of the places you shop, Victoria's Secret and Gap, and I don't know where you shop, but you're still getting those emails, aren't you? Yes, because email still works. So don't count that out. Now, here's some things that I was getting to this and I got distracted. Here's some things you need to be thinking about as we go into this last kind of final push of the year for sales. First of all, how many parties are you having between now and Christmas, and what is your goal for PRV? So maybe you're looking at November, what do I want my goal to be to finish this month out, and what do I have working for that to happen? We're in the middle of Thanksgiving week in the United States, and so some of you may think, well, my weekend's done or whatever. It's not done. You still have friends that you can send testers with as they go off to Thanksgiving to see their entire families. They're all sitting around the couch. They're all sitting around the table. Having testers out and sharing memory is a great way for them to interact with others. So there's still time to do that. Absolutely. You need to be taking testers to Thanksgiving if you are not sharing Scentsy regularly with your family, with the people that you're going to be in contact with. This is such a great opportunity to talk about what you're doing and how you're building your business and share the excitement of what's happening in your business with your friends and your family. Then we have a whole another week at the end of November. What do you have going on? So you've got to start looking at things proactively as opposed to reactionary. If I'm just waiting to see what happens, my business is never going to grow. If I am going forward every month with intent, my business is going to grow. It is those small, consistent things done on a regular basis that really create momentum in your business. And then you've got to look at December. Depending on where you are, you need to know when the Christmas delivery cutoff date is for your area. For the United States, it's the 18th of December. For Canada, I believe it's the 11th. I don't know what the other days are. Mexico, I think I don't know what they are. But you need to know when that Christmas delivery date is, and you need to have everything working around that. So, for instance, you want your calendar so incredibly front-loaded for December that you can almost coast through the end of the month. Now, well, actually, I kind of do want you to coast through the end of the month. I would love for you to bang it out, get it all done at the beginning of December, and then really coast through and enjoy your family the end of the year. That is the goal, but that is not going to happen on accident. That's going to happen with intent and purpose. So that means looking at it right now. If you haven't even stopped to look at it, I know that you have things going on. Your kids are involved in things. Everything's involved in, you have parties going on. There's work parties. There's soccer parties. Everybody wants to have a Christmas party, right? You're traveling to see family, or wherever you're going, what you're doing. You have to lay it all out. Lay it all out, get it on the table, and then where is Scentsy going in the middle of that? Fit it in all the nooks and crannies. You've got to figure out where it goes. Because if you don't, you're going to get to the middle of the month and be like, I don't have time. I don't have time to work my business. So you've got to figure out what works for you and make sure that you have your schedule lined up accordingly. Okay? So then, hopefully, after Christmas cutoff. Okay, other things you need to be thinking about. How are you packaging orders? If you are having party orders delivered to you, how are you packaging them? Are you doing anything special? Are you spending any extra money on little things? I'll show you a couple things. The Target Dollar Spot is my favorite. I found these, there's so many cute little tags there right now. So all my orders go in like a craft gift bag. There's a tag right there, so I know whose it is. Her order's not done yet. It will have tissue paper in it, and they will all be sprayed with room spray. So no order ever leaves my house not smelling good. But look at what you can do. I just delivered an order today to a bingo host, and she said, I literally had some of my friends say they just keep ordering from you because every time they get their order, it feels like a present. It's not expensive. It's part of my business expenses. It's planned for. It's intentional. And I'm always looking for little things like these little gift tags. I mean, these were $1 for 6. And it makes the biggest impact. So their name gets put on one side. It gets put with red and white paper, and it just looks like Christmas. But you want to be planning for those things. That's exactly how I would want to interact with our product. If somebody brought that to me, the tissue paper smelled good, it had my name on a tag, something that I already paid for, it is like Christmas. So I'm excited, right? You want to have that same excitement for your customers. By all means, you need to do what you can afford based on where you are in your business. We want your business to be profitable always. So this is not permission for you to go out and spend money that you are not yet making in your business, but this is permission for you to reinvest money to get a good outcome for something. So even if you're just using the clear bags that come in the orders, or that come in your orders, put a big bow, tie it up in the middle and put a big bow on it. There's so many things. Kaylin said I found the most adorable bags at Crackle Barrel that I'm using for hosts. Oh, and that's such a great idea too, to use something special for your host to make them feel even extra special, because they're opening their home for you, they're sharing their friends and family with you. Heck yes, we want to shower you want your host to feel ridiculously loved and adored. So whatever you can do, little things like Caitlin said, if I find something, I'm grabbing it. Always spray your tissue paper. That's my favorite tip. You know where I got that? Victoria's Secret. They do it. They always put tissue paper in their bags, mostly because they're covering up your panties, which is very nice of them. But they always spray it with one of their perfumes. And you know what happens when they do that? You walk out and you're walking around the mall and you're shopping for other things and you're thinking about Victoria's Secret, because our smell is so closely tied to our emotion and our memory. They are geniuses. We are the smell people. Absolutely, our stuff should smell. Okay? Okay, so be thinking about those things. What are you going to do to make it extra special? And then you can say things like to your, when you're at a party, to your host, oh, also let me know if any of these things are for certain friends and family for Christmas. I'm happy to gift wrap those for free. Do you know what that means to somebody? Gift wrap for free. You're already packaging it. Why would you not just, I can absolutely do that. I'll put somebody else's order in it for them specifically, because you're saving them time, you're adding value. What you want to do as a business owner is you want to add value to people's lives. So if another extra bag, another extra tag, some more tissue paper is gaining you more credibility with your customers, totally worth it every single time. And here's the thing, if you don't love stuff like that, then you don't have to do it. These are just suggestions, and I think it's really important that you spend your time doing things that kind of exaggerate your strengths. I love gift baskets. I love gift things. I love all the gifty things. So it makes sense for that to be part of my brand. If you are more of a direct ship, I will pay $8 for it to be shipped right to your house. I don't have to touch it. Then do it. Then do that. But just make sure that whatever you're doing works for you. Also, a really great and really special feature too is to take a car bar or a scent circle and put it on the outside of the bag. Then it's going to smell extra good. They can utilize it. So maybe it's a freebie that you're giving to your host or something like that. That's a fun idea too. So many ideas. So you want to be thinking about that. How am I adding value to my customers this holiday season? Where can I save them time? Where can I save them money? Maybe it's setting up online parties for them so they can collect orders from friends and family so they can earn host rewards. Whatever it is. What else am I going to say? Okay, so you need to be thinking about that. You also need to be thinking already proactively as you're planning and as you have things on your schedule. If you are one that has everything shipped to you for the local people and then you go out and deliver that, think about when orders are coming in. So one of the first things I do after I have a big order placed is I go in and I track, obviously. I'm tracking to see when it's coming so that I can plan accordingly, so that I have the time and space in my schedule. I think a lot of people get hung up on that. They don't really fit the time in to plan for packaging and organizing and labeling all that stuff. Think about when that's happening. Have that scheduled so that when your things come in, you are able to have the time and the space to make sure that things are packaged well and delivered on time. As you get closer to the shipping deadline, you may want to think about having things direct shipped. Anything that any party orders I submit after the 15th, I will pay for direct shipping. to people who I would usually offer free shipping to, simply because it is worth it to me for my schedule to be freed up for that week before Christmas. Those are decisions that you need to think about and things that you need to decide upon. I'm not saying you need to pay for people's shipping, but you do need to think about, when do I want things directly shipped to people? When am I still willing for them to come to my house and me willing to go make the delivery? Okay, so those are some things you need to think about. Now, that's kind of as we move into the Christmas season. Think about how long into the year you want to work. Think about if there's something you want to do after Christmas. Maybe you want to do a New Year's thing for your customers, maybe for your team. Those are things you need to start planning right now. And then you also need to think about communication for Bring Back My Bar, because right after Christmas, we're going into the end of the year, right? And then all of a sudden it's January 1st and we are smack dab in the middle of Bring Back My Bar. So it seems like, oh, we're coming to the end of the year, but we're also coming to the beginning of the year, and we have to constantly be forward thinking about what's next. So as I'm finishing up December and as I'm kind of letting my brain fill that space, and I told you guys the other day, I take several weeks off. I think I counted this, I think it's going to be it's going to be 3.5 this year. But I take several weeks off, but it's very intentional, planned time that I do on purpose. So you want to be thinking about all the things that are up and coming. How are you promoting Bring Back My Bar? Yes, you already need to be thinking about that. How are you communicating that to your customers? Are you going to do a fun sip and smell in the beginning of January to promote Bring Back My Bar? Have your girlfriends come over for a girls' night, beginning of the year. Heck, talk about your New Year's resolutions. Already start thinking about those things, okay? Oh, Jody, here's the other thing. So Jody says, I spent 5 hours delivering today. I'd love for my customers to pick up, but they're so used to me delivering. This is just something to think about. Becca Levi said this to me one time. She said, how much is your time worth? Because if you spend 5 hours delivering, how many customers is that? How much would it have cost you to direct ship things if you've, always offered them free shipping or whatever, or even offer them discounted shipping? Those are just all things depending on where you are in your business and how much time you have that you need to think about. Honestly, I pay somebody to make my deliveries. College girl, she's fantastic. I'll package everything up and then I come. They all have addresses on them. She puts them all on her phone and she goes and makes all my deliveries for me, and I pay her to do it. And it's worth it to me. But those are just things that you have to decide where you're at in your business, what you're willing to write off, what you need to write off, whatever it is, figure out how to make it work for you. But I also think direct shipping to people, there's a huge value in that. Absolutely huge. So, already though, you should be thinking about January. I know that seems crazy. I know that seems bizarre, but what happens is January sneaks up on people sometimes, because if you're like most people, you're kind of having all this great family time, Christmas, after Christmas, and I think that you should. But if you're not ready for January to come, it's going to come and you're going to be midway through it before you even have any sort of plan going on. So put a plan in place right now. How do I want to promote Bring Back My Bar? How am I communicating that? What am I doing? And work your business that way. I will say about the girl that I paid to deliver, I went and delivered today, and I ran to the grocery store, and then I was going to make 3 deliveries on the way back, and it took me an extra 45 minutes in the car, and I was like, nope, totally just should have paid her to do it. So, think outside the box, you guys. You absolutely, and that's a write-off still. So, even if I pay somebody to do it, it's a write-off for me. So, think about how to make your business the most efficient and effective that it can be, because your time is valuable. Okay. So, I want to show you something else. So, as we go into the new year, we're going to kind of shift gears just a tiny bit. Oh, and yes, those of you with high school kids and driving kids, by all means, pay them to do stuff for you. Absolutely pay them to do stuff for you. Please. Please, please, please. Okay, how much time do I have? Okay, good. We have about 15 minutes. So, I want to shift gears a little bit. We've talked about kind of this, how are we getting through the end of the year? What are we doing to do that? I want to show you something that I do, and I do it about this time every year. Look what I got. It's a big, you like my board? Okay, I want to show you something. So this is something I use to brainstorm ways that I want to communicate. So this, and I do this for 4 different areas, and I'm going to show you each one. I did this on a piece of paper, but I'm doing it like this just to show you visually. So what I do is I will go through about this time each year and decide, how do I want 2018 to look different? How do I want to communicate with my team? How do I want to encourage them? How do I want to, what do I want my, and really the biggest thing is communication. What do I want my main means of communication to be? So I am going back to email for my team, email and text, which is huge. Put a huge response via text from my team. So email, text, I'm still doing Facebook page recognition mostly, and Q&A. But then I also would use this page to think about other things, like how do I want to streamline promotions? That's something I've struggled with the end of this year. So I would say, okay, well next year I'm going, or at the end of this year, I'm going to create promotion boxes. So every time I have somebody promote to lead or star or whatever it is, I know exactly what I'm sending them. I know exactly what's inside that box. It is a easy rhythm that just happens instead of me having to try to think of something every single time I have promotions on my team. I want promotions on my team. I want more promotions on my team. So I want to make sure that I'm recognizing that well and that it's an easy rhythm in my business, okay? So then I would also use this just to kind of brainstorm other things. What are other areas that I want to encourage my team? One of the things I'm starting right now with my team are these fun mastermind groups. So we are doing these via GroupMe, which is an app. So it's a group texting app, but it's all done within the app. And it's organized based on, these groups are being organized based on where people are at in their business and what they're looking towards. So, or working towards. So I would basically put all my lead consultants in one group. And I'm just doing smaller groups, 3 to 5 people. So I'm starting these the last week of November. But I had them apply. So not everybody is getting put in a mastermind group. This isn't for everybody. These are for the people that really want to run their business and work with a smaller group of people and have sort of this community around them, right? So those are just some things that I'm doing for my team. These are things I think you should be doing too. Brainstorm what 2018 is going to look like for you. See, I'm going to put 2018. So that's one area I do. I also, now for most of you, your team and your group is probably the same thing. You only have a group if you have a director underneath you, okay? So, this doesn't pertain to some of you, but some of you may want to think, how am I communicating with my group? Honestly, Online Steps to Success was born out of me figuring out how to best communicate with my group many, 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 many years ago. Okay. So then I also look at my leaders. So those would be the directors on my team. Again, if you don't have a lot of leaders on your team, this wouldn't pertain to you, but some of you do, and so it would. This is another area. How am I communicating with these people? How am I encouraging them? How am I inspiring them? All of those things, right? This one does pertain to all of you. So this is another area that you really want to think about. How do I want to communicate with these people in 2018? So your customer base, right? We're going to put this up higher. We're going to scoot this back. All right, so how do I want to communicate with my customers in 2018? So for me, I've started texting again. This has been huge for me, I told you. So however often you're doing that. I've also gone back to email. I'm considering killing my VIP group. Some of you may think that's crazy. I don't know. I haven't decided. So I'm not sure if it's going on here or not yet. But I'm definitely still utilizing my Facebook business page. Okay? So that's another way that I'm communicating and advertising, right? Of course, still parties that I'm doing. Whatever those look like, that's another way I'm communicating with them. So all of these things, this is just something as you look at going into the next year, brainstorming. How am I communicating with these people? How often am I communicating with these people? So I might say 2 times a month here. I might say, 2 to 3 times a month. or for specials. And then what I'm doing is whatever I land on that I really want to work, I'm then taking this and making sure that I have the time and the capacity to do it, right? So really this is just a big brainstorming, old school English teacher way of looking at your business and deciding what works. Another thing you could do is start writing out everything you currently are, ways you're currently communicating with your customers, and evaluating those. Do all these ways work? If not, how could I do it more efficiently and more effectively? So those are some ideas for you as you get ready to go into the new year. I think we always have to be self-evaluating. I think we always have to be self-reflective on how our business is running and asking ourselves, is that the most efficient way? Is that the most effective way? This is a really good time to do it. Most of you are going to have increased sales, highest sales that you probably have all year over the next 4 weeks. And so you're going to find yourself busy. That's one of the reasons it's so important to be intentional about this time, especially when you have other things going on. You're busy with your family. You're busy with all the things that the holidays bring. So make sure that your business is getting the time and the space that it needs, and that's going to happen through intentional planning and even that intentional preparing of what's to come, right? So that was a lot of talking. What questions do you have for me? Because maybe I'm done 7 minutes early. That would be like a miracle. You like my best aunt ever video? I just became an aunt again. Again, I have a lot of nieces and nephews, but I just got a new nephew, and I'm getting a couple more. There's the book comment. Thanks for making the book comment, Sandy. Somebody always notices and says something. How old am I? That's a super random question. I will be 34 on December 21st. 34 or 33? I think I'll be 34. I'll be 34. I think I'll be 34. Okay, anybody else have any questions? What? April, what do you mean? What do I use? What do I say in email, or what kind of? There's a couple of services that are free. One of them is Mad Mimi. One of them is MailChimp. So there's several free services. Catherine, I don't do any coaching right now. None at all. I don't have any time to do one-on-one coaching. I don't even do it with my frontline. I really think that, and here's my best advice for those of you who would say, I really need a mentor, I really want to learn more about this business. Honestly, I would say start reading or start listening to books on tape. If you're not a reader, listen to audiobooks. Audible is an awesome app where you can listen to books. If you haven't read The Compound Effect, I would start there. It's an incredible book that you need to understand to really run your business effectively. What else? There are so many good books out there that will just increase your leadership and increase. Oh, How to Win Friends and Influence People, incredibly important. So many books, of course, that I cannot think of a one at the moment. I'm reading a book right now called Grit that's amazing. What else? There's so many good books. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a direct sales book. It can be any kind of business book. That's going to increase you so much. Yes, YouTube Cincy videos. There's so much to learn from so many people. Obviously, you can join every week here. Rachel, I would guess if you're having busted Facebook parties that it has to do with host coaching. You cannot have a successful Facebook Live party without appropriate host coaching, and that really is key. If there are more than 50 people invited to a Facebook Live party, that's too many. You need to effectively communicate with and coach your host, otherwise they will be a bust. So that's really important. I don't do Facebook Live bingo. I haven't done bingo via Facebook Live. I'm not opposed to it, but I haven't figured out, but I don't do it. How do I decide what to email versus text? Email's just more personal, honestly, and more of like, so I think of my email looks more like a newsletter. So kind of like old school, like, here's what's going on. It's always very personal. It'll say stuff about what's happening in our family. So almost like a catch-up kind of email. And then also I'll have, I'll do more pictures on email than I would ever send via text. Text may just be a certain special or something specific that's happening that I want to communicate. Okay, what else? Nikki, thanks. Thanks for saying young like you. I feel so old. But I've been doing this since I was 23, so I've been doing it for a really long time. Okay, I'm just looking at y'all's questions. Sorry. Oh, y'all are giving great book. Oh, The Go-Giver is one of my favorites. Y'all are giving good book suggestions. When you have your live online parties where you're the host, do you invite or direct the same people, or do you have new people every time? I've never once done a Facebook live party where I was the host. I keep meaning to do it, and I just haven't had the time to do it. But I would absolutely. The other thing I think is really important is that when you have Facebook live parties, that the invitation is not only via Facebook. So I always include an image and wording for my host to text out to their friends as well, because I never see my Facebook invites ever, not ever, because I don't look at them. And there's a lot of people like that. So if you want good attendance at your Facebook live parties, you've got to be communicating in some other way than just via Facebook. Yes, all the instructions for a bingo party are on another video that we did on Online Steps to Success called Think Outside the Party Box. And in there is details about a bingo party. Penny, I do all my Facebook Live parties from my business page because I want more interaction and content on my business page. And I've always done that. I've never done one for my personal page. Not to say I wouldn't, but I just haven't, because honestly, my personal page is my personal page and my business page is my business page. But they do coincide. It's not like I don't post business-y things on my personal page. I do, but I do all my Facebook Live parties from my business page. That's a good question. Okay. Kelly, I think to start out emailing, I think you just send out an email and just be honest. Like, hey, I haven't really emailed in a long time, or some of you I haven't talked to in a while, but I'm just reconnecting and want to make sure that you know all the things going on in the Scentsy world and, whatever. But remember, words really matter, so you kind of do have to play with words some. But I would just be honest and kind of shoot out an email. You want it to be relaxed. You want it to be fun. People don't like super salesy. They don't. Nobody does. So be weary of that and make sure that you're not doing that. A Facebook Live party is exactly like a in-home party. So people watch live. Well, you can see my setup over there, sort of. That's my Facebook Live setup. And I take people around my house and show them warmers in my house. But it's like a home party. I tell them everything. We talk about fragrance. We talk about oil and wax. You can go to my business page and see every Facebook Live party I've ever done. You can just search my name, Allison Dalkey, and you'll see my business page, and every Facebook Live party I've ever done is on there under events. There is a video about host coaching on this on this page, there is a video we did that was all about Facebook Live parties, and I talked about host coaching, and there is a host coaching document in the notes section of this page as well, that you can get step-by-step tools for how to host coach. So I have a Facebook business page, and I have a Facebook VIP group. Honestly, right now my Facebook business page is more productive than my Facebook VIP group. But some of you have killer VIP groups. I just don't spend a ton of time on Facebook, so mine is what it is. That's where you have to find your own way. You have to do what works for you. Somebody asked when the last online steps will be in December. The last one will be on the 19th, and then we will not have another one until January 16th. So there'll be 1, 2, 3 weeks of no online steps to success. And actually, on December 12th, I am looking for a fill-in. So if you know somebody who would be a really great speaker about any topic they would like, on December 12th, I need a fill-in for online steps to success. Because I'm having surgery the day before. So I need somebody to fill in for me so I won't be drugged. I know, a whole month. And you know what? Everyone's going to live. It'll be okay. So, thank you guys for joining me tonight. I know this was super, what's the word? Sometimes, like, all of the, preparedness, planning stuff, it's just not that glamorous, but it's not that glamorous. But it also makes a huge, huge difference in your business. But the reason some people don't do it is because it's sometimes not that fun. So, there you have it. And Nick just had a baby. I know, she's adorable. Gratz would be good. Christina would be good. I know. How does one pick? I don't know who to pick. But I need some help. Oh, Laura's fantastic. Who could I get to come on? Maybe anybody.
Me.
No, you have to take care of me.
Oh, your surgery?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's a great suggestion. So, I will see you next week. If you're in the U.S., I hope you eat a lot of turkey. I hope you wear your stretchy pants, have a couple glasses of wine, enjoy yourself, enjoy your family, sit around the table extra long, and be thankful for all of the things that we've been given. We live in a pretty amazing place. So, y'all have a wonderful night, and I will see you next week, again, right here, 8 o'clock Central Time for Online Steps to Success. Bye!
Bye.